Hey Libra, how's it going? This is going to be your reading for April 2017. My name is Dre. My face. Anyway, general tell reading for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So I didn't watch your guys' last video. I'm gonna try to stop doing that. Even though I know people like it, and I feel like I've sort of done these long enough to where I see what the main problem is for each sign, and it overlaps for a few signs. But then again, it's like sort of specific too, like Aquarius, for instance. Some of their messages are similar, but it's very tailored to Aquarius. And same thing for you guys. Like, I'm getting the sense that there's, for you guys, it's more about just standing in your own truth and like sort of becoming more independent. And I don't know, let's just see how these cards look because I'm looking at that so far. You guys just have extra cards, which is always a good thing. Okay. Nice. Now what I want to do as well is, let's pull a card for this night. Okay. So you guys just have extra cards, which is fine. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Pentacles. And for this night, I drew extra cards. We have the Lovers in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles reverse, and the Two of Wands. You have the King of Wands, Three of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Eight of Wands reversed, or Nine of Wands reversed, Eight of Wands, Four of Swords, the Hierophant in reverse, and we have the Knight of Wands. And with that came the Page of Wands in reverse, as well as Temperance. Okay, so I feel like this is going to be a very important message for you guys, Libra. See where to start. Well, you guys have been like backed into a corner. You guys have been you've been run through the mill. You've been shredded, grinded, fed through the what's it called? The paper shredder. You've been fed through all of these things. The meat grinder, I think I already said that. But like when it comes to actually trying to free yourself of past loves, past hurts, past rejection, the most important thing is to understand is that you're not doing it, to remember that you're not spiting people in the process. That your joy shouldn't be contingent upon other people's happiness or misery, or that what happens to them doesn't, it shouldn't really affect you in any way. Like if somebody that you're talking to or somebody that you work with, where it's like their life is like on the downward end of like the roller coaster or whatever, it's in the dip, to not let that impact you in a way that's also bringing you down, or to make it seem like you have a responsibility to sort of lift them out of that. To understand that essentially your path is independent from everybody else's. And that's sort of the consistent message I've always gotten for you guys since I've done these, is that it's more about understanding that your life journey, while other people are involved, and while it's always good to like have a close group of friends or to have people around us to stand by our side, it's like if we're not confident, if we're not sure, and if we're not not more goal oriented, but if we don't have a clear idea, a clear picture of what we want and where we want to go, then that's just going to make things more complicated. And that message is more general for everybody, except that changes depending upon who I'm reading for. And there's a lot of you, so I'm keeping these as general as possible, of course. But ultimately, it's like some of you guys have really, I see you guys trying to take more charge, but it's like a cautious sort of energy. Because we have this Four of Wands here underneath this King of Wands. And I see this King of Wands as you guys. Or the Queen of Pentacles could be you guys. Either way, it's like there's distance between you and somebody else. And that's what this Knight of Pentacles is. Where it's like, at least in terms of you trying to achieve something, or you in terms of trying to get to something, it's like you're not either it's going to be important for you guys to understand the work, the practical work that would need to go into it, or you guys are just more focused on your own thing. I see lovers at a distance. Maybe you were with somebody and you broke up or whatever, and like they're trying to get back with you, and it could have been like a long-term relationship, like a serious sort of thing, even a marriage that ended. But either way, it's like somebody's trying to reach out to somebody else, but I'm seeing you in this position. If you are the Queen of Pentacles, like if you have more earthy energy, or if you, for some reason I'm getting Virgo, some of you might be on the Virgo-Libra cusp, Moon in Virgo. But either way, it's like more of, you have your own sort of field to tend to. You have your own sort of ideas, or at least that's what's going to be important to understand and to recognize. Because the Five of Pentacles in reverse is like crowning this reading, or it's the overall energy. And that's the energy more of trying to come out of this feeling of abandonment and inhospitability. Things are just inhospitable right now. In terms of like maybe you're not making enough money, or you're mainly focused on just grinding and getting your work, or you're more focused on you're more focused on your health. Like this could be like just overexhaustion, overexertion, mental stress. You're at your wit's end with somebody or with something, to the point where it's like, it's going to be, if you start questioning as to why you feel this way, or whether or not there's any worth in this, take heed to that thought, take heed to that, and understand that if you're asking that question, then maybe you feel like that there's something else you can sort of turn this energy toward. And with some of you, it might be, some of you are trying to repair a love that essentially, it's not that it's impossible to work out of, but it's just like you have your work cut out for you. In the sense that there's a distance here, whether it's in time or whether it's in affection or devotion. One person feels more strongly about the other than the other one does. And that's going to be an issue. This Knight of Pentacles is more of an energy cautioning you to sort of understand that if you want something to come from this, if you want some love to prosper, if you want a creative project to prosper, if you want a new idea to come to life, that time, you've got to be willing to work with time. And then you've got to be willing to sort of, I'm seeing like communicate with people that you wouldn't ordinarily talk to. I've been getting that message for a few signs where it's like sort of expand your circle of friends, expand who you choose to talk to, expand who you choose to bring into your life, expand, try to grow more, at least on like at a higher level. Well, you know, that's a natural process. We can't just sort of wake up and say, well, we're going to think differently today. But meeting people outside of like, I see expanding your philosophical point of view, your spiritual point of view, your range of dialogue, what you want to talk about. That's totally divorced from somebody, because I see you guys are still trying. I see it more if you're this King of Wands, where you're more eager to sort of get back into something with somebody who obviously probably isn't really returning the favor. They are, but it's like the communication right now, it's passionate. Either you could be arguing with this person, or you have it out for somebody, or there's like tension here, and you're trying to make the best of a worse situation, or you're trying to make something happen that's not going to happen, Gretchen. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's that sort of thing where it's like, are you using your energy wisely? And I see if you guys are more of this Queen of Pentacles, where it's just like, again, somebody's giving you advances. You might be actually responding to them, or you might be engaging them. But again, you're more focused on like, it's going to be probably more beneficial if you were to focus on the fact that things around you could be a lot better. Like, because I feel like you're in this place now where it's like, you've been fighting this long, tired battle from a love from the past, from relations or social interactions in the past, experiences of the past that are just sort of weighing down on you. This queen is looking down not only at her pentacle, but this energy here, this Nine of Wands in reverse, where it's more like taking a look at sort of your exhaustion, what defenses need to fall, what walls need to be what old walls are still up that just have to come crumbling down. And it's not like you can't build new walls, but it's just like the walls, the material and their function changes, you know, especially if you have like huge concrete walls or like this huge just defense around you, caused by somebody else that's inhibiting you, limiting you from meeting new people and from bringing this new fresh energy into your life. And so that's with this Nine of Wands in reverse to this Eight of Wands. It's more like endeavoring you to, I don't know if that's a word, but it'll be important for you to like actually try to expand that a little bit, because you could meet somebody out of this if this is somebody new. But if this is somebody you already know, this is something you have to actually go back inward to sort of understand your place in this relationship, the history. I always see fives as history, because the five is we're transitioning into a different stage with these numbers and what these cards mean. So everything before the five is just like the initial stages, like when you first meet somebody or whatever, like all that sort of initiatory energy. But with the five, it's like things have to change, like the dynamics have changed. You know more about this person, you understand them more, they understand you more, especially with this Five of Pentacles, where it's more in direct relation to another person, but as well as your own self-worth and what we allow other people to take from us, at least on an internal level. Six of Pentacles is more external, internal healing. So to understand that history, to understand what, you know, five is also sort of conflict. It can be conflict for the sake of transformation. for the sake of the evolution. And so it's more like, are you more willing to allow yourself to sort of become a victim to your past, or is there's still a chance for you to actually heal from what came before? Like if you meet somebody new, or if you're linking or networking with somebody, and it's just like, well, I don't know, like when I tried to do business with somebody before, it didn't really work, or when I tried to sell my idea to somebody before, it didn't really work, or when I tried to, be vulnerable around somebody, it didn't work. Another card also got the Five of Pentacles in reverse, I think. And so it would behoove you, it would be so beneficial for you to understand that, that our past doesn't define us. Our past does not dictate our future. Our present does. What we choose to do now. And that's the thing, I've sort of been thinking about it, because everybody, the number one question I get is like a question of time, a question of when will these things happen, or what's the time frame. And I've never known how to answer that question. I've always been more of a like, well, things will sort of happen. Things will sort of just, don't be too hung up on time, because the more I've done tarot, the more I've understood that as I've seen time as more of like, not an illusion, but something that can't be, we have no control over time as humans. We can only sort of create clocks and create calendars to sort of organize it, but the concept of time itself is just sort of beyond anything that humans have any grasp of, considering we haven't even been on this planet for that long at all. I always see tarot, when I'm giving you these readings, I'm seeing these as initiatory actions, things that are happening now, things that you have to do. They're not things that happen to you, it's things we do. I mean, of course things happen, like, we have a tower in our lives, or there are these other things, but it's more like things that are happening now, and these are our actions, us choosing, us doing things. It's all initiatory, it's all initiative. That's all I see tarot as. It's not, you cannot be passive with tarot. I don't know why I told you guys that specifically, but, well, I've been thinking about this since the last time I did my reading, the last reading I did. So yeah, it's all initiatory action. So when you're asking, like, when will this happen, it happens ultimately when the universe decides it will happen, which we have no choice over, and when you choose to make it happen. And I'm seeing all of these as initiatory energies to be more focused on what needs to be tended to in terms of like your own emotional state, or your finances, or your career, or anything else anything long term that you have to put into effect. Family, your children, that sort of thing. Putting energy into work that deserves it, not into giving it to somebody who will only squander it and will only use you. And so this is an energy that you really have to work with. This is an energy that I feel like it's deeper than some of you will be able to understand. It's going to be deeper than what some of you are able to comprehend. Even myself. I mean, this is like, whatever. I haven't even been doing tarot that long, and I haven't been into astrology I'm heading into my 4th year. But it's just like, the more we grow, and the more layers we shed, and the more we sort of become comfortable with the fact that we don't know everything, but that we do have control over how people treat us, and how we choose to let people treat us, and how we choose to value ourselves, which is a very Libran sort of energy, where it's like, your place in the world, and you want everybody else to feel comfortable in your world. So you sort of, you invite them into your world. That's sort of the Libran energy. Even if it is only for a time. And even if it, but that's the thing, every sign has its own like separate individual quality as well as a collective quality. And Libra, this energy is about bridging that gap between the self and the other. And so I feel like, in order to truly understand that, I see you guys as working toward that, or it's going to be important to, like, again, be more mindful of who is worth our time and who isn't, who is valuable and what's not, what ideas, what concepts of love, of life, of career, of family can we leave behind? What's only weighing us down, and what is more, and what will be more helpful for us going forward? And I ultimately see love for a lot of you, of course. And it's interesting. We have this Page of Cups here, this Page of Wands, and Temperance, and this Knight of Wands, where it's like the Temperance card is, of course, Sagittarius, so some of you might have a Sagittarius around. But it's also like balancing the fiery essences of ourselves, the cooler, more emotional essence of ourselves. Wow, so it's like what you want ultimately is love. You want that true, pure love. You want to, and it's not even like love in terms of like romantic love, but like more like childish, poetic sort of love, where it's like you want the night to sort of sweep you off your feet, and you want somebody to sort of, you want that all-consuming desire and passion. That is love, but it also is very sexual. But it's also something that's rooted in like nostalgia, childhood. Like when we meet somebody and they make us feel like a kid, that sort of thing. But with this Page of Wands in reverse here, on top of this Knight of Wands, it's always going to be like, you can't always, don't let your eyes deceive you. Don't let the passion deceive you. Don't let this sort of innocence, this naivete sort of deceive you. And if some of you do, it's like this is a lesson for you to grow wiser because of that. Grow wiser with, again, who we choose to let in, what energy is beneficial for us going forward, what's toxic, what relationships, what what sort of people, what relationships do we have in our lives, and how do they function for us? Are they beneficial or are they useless? I mean, that's the best way I can put it. Like, we have our work colleagues, we have people that, we hire to fix things for us. We have people, we're creative ourselves. Some of us, we're all creative in different ways. How can we sort of build that talent to go further? How are we limiting ourselves with our thought patterns, with our beliefs? And that's just all encompassing. So it can range from the watery emotional side of us, whether or not that's love necessarily, but it can also be like, are we of course I'm a Pisces. I go to the first thing that I can think of, like, are we drinking too much? Are we partying too much? Are we emotionally available enough? But it's also more that fiery side. Are we putting ourselves out there? Are we trying new things? Are we at least trying to experience something adventurous within ourselves? Because other people can do this for us. Other people can give us love, or they can show us devotion, or they can show us a good time. But with Temperance here, it's all about self-healing. It's about bringing those essences, bringing that out within ourselves, not having it totally dependent upon somebody. So even if you are this King of Wands in this suit, and you are more eager to sort of, get back in touch with somebody when the connection isn't there, try, but also be understanding if it doesn't work out, and what about that needs to change. What about your attitude or your views of that person or the situation needs to change? If you're more of this Queen of Pentacles and you're more focused on that hurt and that pain, don't be afraid to branch out. Don't let what somebody else did in the past sort of hinder you from experiencing these sort of opportunities that you can bring in going forward. And that, with both of those cases, is going to come more from a sense of having to establish relationships and bonds that serve purpose to you, that are in line with your soul connection. Again, another reading I did was pretty similar. And to not sort of cut off your desire, your passion, what you want in terms of love or sex or creativity or anything, whatever brings you whatever makes you just feel good, feel that sort of God feeling, I call it, where you're in the zone and just things just really feel good. Understand, it's going to take some time to sort of understand what bits and pieces of these work, how they can function together without totally destroying you from the inside. Whether that's like getting attached to people that you shouldn't be attached to, uh, doing things that you otherwise would normally do only because of peer pressure, um, sort of cutting yourself off because you don't want to be rejected again, that sort of thing. There are certain bits and pieces that people teach us when we date them, or situations teach us when we go through them. It's like, okay, well, I know that this felt good, but, I want to feel this, but, I don't want anybody to treat me this way to make me feel that sort of way, if you know what I mean. Like, this guy, he made me feel so good. I like that feeling, but I hated the fact that he treated me like trash. So I'm going to look out for other people that, I'm going to allow myself to feel good, but, if somebody makes me feel any sort of way in which I have to question my worth, or they're questioning, my place, or, they're making me feel bad about myself, that's just a red flag I'm going to, like, keep track of. So going forward, I understand that, it's okay to have this feeling, but it's not okay to have that feeling, because I'm not going to let anybody make me feel that way about myself, make me feel less about myself. We always want to feel good about ourselves. And you can't feel guilty about that. You always have to allow yourself to sort of be open to that, regardless of what people have done to you in the past. And of course, heartbreak comes, but heartbreak also goes. We get to the other side of that if you allow yourself to. I mean, I don't understand why anybody would want to have that heavy burden, have that pain, and old pain especially, from the past, from somebody that didn't even care about us. They still don't care about you. So why are you carrying on that pain still? I mean, sorry to be blunt, but I mean, if somebody shows you who they are, believe them. All right, Libra, thank you for that. Well, whatever, I don't know why I'm thanking you guys, but thank you for watching. And I will see you guys soon. So yeah, peace.